Welcome to the Liberty Experts Podcast, where all your liberty questions are answered, discussed, and debated by experts. Now, here are your liberty experts, Tim Moen and David Birnbaum. Welcome to the Liberty Experts Podcast. I'm Tim Moen, leader of the Libertarian Party Canada, and I am here with Justin Watson. Now, Justin is a business owner who is going through a rough time right now thanks to government lockdowns aimed at protecting people. And I'm guessing he doesn't feel all that protected right now. Justin is also near and dear to my heart. He's a supporter of the Libertarian Party. My daughter learned to shoot archery at his shop here in Edmonton. And so I want to find out what's going on. Justin, welcome to the Liberty Experts. How you doing, brother?
Well, all things considered, I'm doing okay. Still waiting for bylaw and the police to show up here, but who knows if that'll happen today, tomorrow, Thursday, whenever.
Right. So give me the story here. I saw a couple of Facebook posts and they were troubling. What's going on with you?
Well, basically what it all started with was on Sunday, I got a 1-star review on Google based on the fact that nobody in here was wearing masks. And I think it's the same guy that reported me. So, and then Monday I got a phone call from AHS saying that I was required by law to shut down, and I said, well, that's not going to happen until somebody comes in here and cuts me a check for every month that I'm open. She didn't think that was too terribly funny, but I wasn't joking. So I mean, I've got bills to pay, mouths to feed. So if the government's or somebody, I don't care who, isn't going to come down here and pay me, then I've got a right to operate my business.
Right. And, I mean, it's not, sure. I'll just
phone's
pause.
Ringing. Yep.
Okay. So you're obviously running your business, phone calls are going off, customers are coming in. We appreciate you taking the time to explain this, and kudos to you for having the balls to stand up against the man. But basically you were saying, okay, someone reported you, first of all, they gave you a 1-star review,
Yep.
and then reported you to AHS. I mean, one of the most troubling aspects of this whole lockdown is the slave mentality people have, where they are ratting each other out. Yeah. Right. It's like, what did I was hearing a quote earlier today that, what we've learned from this lockdown is Canadians and Americans will basically put up with anything. If the government just tells them to stay inside, they'll stay inside. And further, they'll rat each other out for not doing that, for not following the government. And that is truly a troubling place. So that's bothering. But I mean, look, it's not like people are coming into your store and not consenting to whatever is going on, right? I mean, if you're scared of the virus, you see a bunch of people in a store not wearing masks, maybe you just don't come in the store. It's a free country, but instead he runs off and reports you to the authorities and tries to destroy your life. So talk to me a little bit about your customers and you and this decision you made to just not wear masks.
Well, it's not that we've decided to not wear masks. I respect people that come in here want to wear masks. That's fine. People that don't wear masks, I don't ask questions. And I've told when I was first reported back in October, when the mask mandate first started, I told the lady on AHS that I'm not the government, I'm not their daddy, and I'm not their doctor. It's none of my concern. I don't ask questions. I just assume that they've got a medical exemption. It's none of my business. And the lady on the other end, she was very respectful. She said, oh, so you just don't confront people? I said, no. She said, good enough for me. Have a nice day. That was the end of it. And that's how it should have gone.
Okay. So it's not even that you're protesting masks per se. You're just not being a government enforcer. You're not being an enforcer for free for the government's rules. Is that basic?
Yeah, I'm not paid 6 figures to do their job for them. If they want to have a bylaw guy stationed outside here, and a doctor with them, then that's on them. That's not on me. Right. But as a secondary thing, it's also a safety hazard to be wearing a mask when shooting a bow. We had a lady in here in October that actually was wearing mask, was shooting. She was fine. And she just happened to catch the mask with a bowstring and pulled it off her face. She could have had a lot more damage. She was wearing clip-on earrings that day, but it tore one of her earrings off. And if she had been wearing just a regular post or a hoop or something like that, that would have been pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, because if I remember from the archery, you were teaching us, you draw that string right back basically to your cheek almost, right? So it's very easy. I could see how that could happen.
Yeah,
that's
and
a really
especially
good
with
point.
a new shooter. Yeah, if you got a new shooter that doesn't really, know 100%, and they're, I always go out and watch people and make sure that everything's good. And she just happened to catch a string on her mask. It was one of those disposable masks, and so she could have been really badly hurt, but she took that thing off real quick after that, and everybody else did as well. And ever since then, people come in here that wear masks. I warn them. I say, this is what could happen. It's your call. They have to sign waivers now. So yeah, it's their call on what they want to do. And I don't, if they decide to wear the mask, I just warn them to be cautious. If they don't, fine, whatever. I think probably about 9 out of 10 people take off the mask immediately. That they're just like, okay, yeah, no, this is, I don't have to wear it. Okay, cool, I'm done. And they just take it off.
Right.
So I don't encourage people to take them off, but I don't discourage them either.
Right. And so what are you looking at in terms of enforcement action? So AHS has called you and basically, what did they say?
Yeah, they said that I have to shut down, and I said, well, that's not going to happen, because I was supposed to have been shut down beginning of December, I guess. Nobody told me anything. Nobody contacted me. If I'm supposed to shut down, the onus is on them to make sure that everybody knows. And because we're kind of a niche market, the first time back the lockdowns back in March, for our 1-year anniversary of the 2-week lockdown, I contacted municipal, provincial, and federal governments, and I got 3 different answers on whether or not I was essential services or not, and had to shut down. So I just said, well, if you guys don't know, then how am I supposed to know? And I just kept going.
Yeah. Right on. And so you've been staying open this whole time. And what kind of enforcement action could you face if they decide to come after you? What are the fines or the repercussions?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna guess probably, from what I've been hearing, anywhere between $1,200 and $2,500 as far as the first fine goes. The lady on AHS just said that we were obviously going to get nowhere with me, and so she was going to be referring me to the next level, which I'm assuming is bylaw. So I'm just waiting on them to show up. I don't know if they will or not, because apparently we're supposed to be opening up a little bit on Monday. How much I have faith in that, I don't know. Probably, I'm going to guess probably not a lot. But right. I'm not, they can shut me down for today, but I'll be back open the day after, so I'll be back open on Thursday. Right.
So if bylaw comes to shut you down, you're just going to keep opening it up and doing your peaceful activity. And what's this has to be scary for you. You got your livelihood wrapped up in this business. This is what puts food on the table. Yep. They're threatening that right now. There must be a tremendous amount of temptation or whatever to just comply and do whatever it takes to stay open. What motivates you to stand your ground here?
I'm tired. I'm tired of everybody bending over. I'm tired of bending the knee. Like Leonidas said, I've got knee problems. Kneeling down is going to be an issue for me. So
yeah. And it sounds like there's a growing number of businesses in Alberta that are just saying, nah, we're not doing this anymore. We're just going to stay open.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I find most of them are in the rural areas. There's not a whole lot in the major municipalities, Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary. But I'm hoping that's going to change. And if I have to be the catalyst, well, then I've got to be the catalyst. I don't want to, but somebody needs to do it.
Right. Yeah. And it seems like, there was that restaurant, I think in Mirror, Alberta, the Whistle Stop, that basically publicly defied authorities.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sounds like a bunch of that gave courage to a bunch of other restaurants and businesses to say, you know what, if they can do it, so can we. And, you know, there's some safety and strength in numbers, right? I mean, if a whole bunch of businesses start doing this, they can't possibly put a lid on it. You know, I hope this message goes out wide, wide and far to people, and people consider joining your cause here. You know, peaceful civil disobedience exposes the gun in the room. If those cops come in there and, you know, they have to draw down on you and, you know, forcibly haul you away. I hope that doesn't happen to you, but, you know, I hope that you're prepared to film that and have some kind of footage to show the world the gun in the room, that these aren't just suggestions, you know, wear a mask, stay locked down, shut your business down. These aren't suggestions. These are mandates. And those mandates are enforced by people with guns who will use violence to enforce them. That's the whole game of government. They use violence. And surely there's got to be better solutions than violence to what's going on out there. Surely people can make their own risk assessment and decide whether they want to come in your store or not. And you shouldn't have to, you know, be a government enforcer when you're not even employed by the government. You know, congrats to you for doing this. Is there anything else you wanted to add? I mean, you had mentioned a group that you belong to, a common law organization. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I don't know too terribly much about them. I was only at one of their meetings on Saturday. It's something relatively new to me. It's called GECLA, the Greater Edmonton Common Law Association. And yeah, it's just a group of like-minded people, especially a lot of business owners that have been really affected by this. And we're just tired. Everybody's fed up with how the government's going about everything. There's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just that they want us to shut down. And like you say, it's a use of force when they're, you know, saying that you have to wear masks, because if I refuse and I resist, they could just out and out shoot me. And that's a chance that sadly I'm willing to take, you know. And I've joked about it. We sell body armor and stuff here. And I've joked about it that, well, maybe if I see them rolling in, maybe I gotta strap that on. You know, and it's, you know, I started out as a joke on that, but I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I don't know, because I've seen pictures of them going into convenience stores to enforce the masks, and cops rolling, they've got their hands on their guns, and that just, no, I'm not a danger. Don't pretend that I am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And of course the trick to civil disobedience, and, you know, I wish more people would learn this, is to not fight back, to not, you know, you need to maintain the, your innocence essentially by removing any perception that you're a bad guy. And quite often fighting back will remove that perception. So, you know, you make them use force against you, but you don't use force back is the trick to civil disobedience.
And I mean, a big thing about that is the media will absolutely crucify people that show any sign of resistance.
Right.
And I mean, look at what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse in the States. They're going to take something that was a legitimate need and turn it completely around. And they destroy lives, and they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to be smarter. And, you know, just talking on the common law front a little bit, you know, common law is I'd like to find out more about this organization. Hopefully you can connect me with your friend and plug me into this organization a little bit. I'd love to see if I can be involved. But, you know, the beautiful thing about common law and how it differs from the type of legislative top-down law we have now, where politicians write down some scribbles on a paper, and then justice becomes about a judge deciding whether whether your behavior lines up with the politician's scribbles or not. Common law is a decentralized type of law. It's a law that emerges from the bottom up, and the judges are there to resolve disputes by looking at universal principles. They're trying to determine what are the universal principles that can apply here in these cases. And there has to be someone who is a victim, essentially, or claiming to be a victim, and then the perpetrator. And so if we were looking at this through common law lens here, what we would need is someone to say, well, I was victimized by Justin and his store. And then they would have to show that in court. Well, how did they victimize you? Where did they do something not consensual to you? You chose to go in the store, you chose not to wear a mask, or you chose to come in the store, you saw that there was some people not wearing masks. How did Justin hurt you? Did you get COVID? Did he cough on you and he was infected? Did he, you have to prove something. But right now we're living in an era that it's like a pre-crime era, right? You're guilty until you prove you're innocent. We're hearing stories now of people coming back to Canada from the US. I've heard at least 2 stories now of people getting hauled away to detention centers at an unknown location where they're forced into quarantine, and there's no evidence that they're infected at all, right? No fever, they in fact, the one kid got a COVID test. Apparently it was just the wrong type of COVID test. He probably got an antibody test instead of a PCR test or something like that. And that wasn't good enough. But under common law, you have to have probable cause. There has to be some evidence that someone is an imminent threat or causing harm. There absolutely is no evidence of that at all. So it's troubling to me that people are just accepting this and saying, well, science says we have to suspend probable cause. And now, I mean, that we've accepted this, what's next on the agenda? What else can you be judged a pre-crime for, right? I mean, if you have a certain, we see in the States now, Brennan lumped libertarians in with white supremacists and white nationalists as extreme terror threats. Okay, so having the idea that the individual ought not be aggressed against, that his property ought to be respected, is now considered a pre-crime in a sense, because now you can label me as a terrorist and you can lock me away for an undisclosed amount of time, because that's what we do with terrorists. We send them to Gitmo without any due process, without any trial, without any probable cause. So we're entering this era where you, Justin, are guilty of a pre-crime, and you're killing grannies. It's not clear how you're killing grannies. It's not clear what the causal relationship is. No one can actually trace any COVID infection back to you and say, my granny died because Justin opened up his store and let people shoot archery and fed his family. So it's really troubling. So anyways, anything else you wanted to add, Justin? Or sorry for my little rant there. It's just, it makes my blood boil.
Yeah, me too. I mean, yesterday when she called, I was absolutely shaking. I was incredibly mad. Very frustrated because the government has been making people just absolutely terrified to go out in public. And a lot of it, especially indoor activities, something like this is, they're scared, and they've got no right to be, no reason to be. But the government is intentionally perpetrating the fact that, you need to be scared. Well, scared of what? Well, just scared, and they want people to be scared. They don't want people to go out, and people, I think, are getting tired now. They're getting tired of being scared. And we have a great group of people that come in here. They're very respectful, but they're tired. They come in. We've even had cops in here in the last 2 months. I'm sure we've probably had bylaw in here in the last 2 months, just coming in and shooting, and not one of them has mentioned anything to me. I'm not going to be outing who they are, because that would just be not cool. But we've had a great group of people, military, law enforcement, come in, and every single one of them is just tired, and I go home, I don't sleep much anymore, don't eat much anymore. Just the stress is absolutely insane, but it's getting better with the massive amount of support that I've been getting from people. And it's pretty amazing. It's just showing how much people are just done. They're just done. And hopefully with the restaurants, Jason Kenney showed his hand, he cracked a little bit. maybe now we can get on the other aspect and get more gyms open, and maybe he'll crack a little bit more. I mean, he's not a man of the people like he claimed to be. So, and I hope that that people are realizing that now.
Yeah. And I think, you know, people are realizing that, okay, maybe there's some risks in opening everything up and just carrying on life as normal as an individual. Maybe I have to take some precautions, but I think they're realizing there's an equal or greater risk in doing absolutely nothing and just letting the government steamroll us here and just ruining our lives, ruining the economy, you know, destroying people, their mental health, everything else. And I think people are, you know, like when you have nothing left to lose because you just complied, and your back's against the wall, it's not going to be pretty. And so the government has to start loosening up these things and giving people their liberty back in the name of public health. If all you care about is public health, an aggregate of people getting along and being healthy and surviving and flourishing, well, you know, we can't have these lockdowns. Anyway, Justin, what's the name of your store? I encourage everyone to go there and shoot some archery. Justin's a great teacher. He has a great range there, great products.
It's called Wyld Archery. The website is wildarchery.ca. It's WYLD because I like to be different. So it's wildarchery.ca. Come in, take a look around. Even if you don't shoot, just come in and say hi. Show your support. Yeah, it's important we support people, you know, in this time, and especially people that are putting themselves out there and willing to take a stand. You know, it can be lonely out there. I know from personal experience, but it really helps having people support you. And we got your back. I want anyone who watches this to go visit Justin if you're in the area, say hi, maybe spend some time shooting at the range there. And, you know, Justin, please keep us informed if anything happens, if you do get shut down. You know, I'd love to get the word out there and maybe we can crowdsource something and help you out a little bit. But anyways, good luck to you, brother. All right. Thank you. All right. Thanks, buddy.